Comedy Film Nerds Podcast.
So I finally got to see The Big Sick.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We've had this movie talked about numerous times on the show.
And everyone's liked it.
Everyone's liked it, and I really say it was a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was...
Not just because we know the people involved.
Yeah. The thing that was cool about it, so it's obviously based on Kumail Nanjiani's...
By the way, CJ loved it too, and he doesn't know them.
that speaks well of the film then. So it... Emily V. Gordon, who's been on the show, and they've done their podcast, The Indoor Kids, at Podfest numerous times. They have it's based on their life, which is why it's done so well and why it makes the most sense. So you've also got Michael Showalter, who directed Hello, My Name is Doris, which is a cool little quirky movie that Sally Field was in, and totally different than what Sally Field normally plays. And he's directed a lot of TV, Michael Showalter, and...
Didn't he do Wet Hot American Summer too?
Yeah, he was one of the writers on that. Mm-hmm. So, and the thing that I liked about this movie is it's obviously based in their life. I feel like they updated some stuff, like he's an Uber driver and they got iPhones or whatever. Like, I feel like they probably met probably 10, 15 years ago or something.
Right, when he was driving for Lyft.
Yeah. When he had an iPhone 4.
Yeah.
But the stuff that happens, the twists and turns in this felt very real. Like, oh, wow, that must have, a version of this. And Ray Romano is so great as this, bumbling dad. And they make it a point, like, he's not very funny. Like, his character isn't so... In terms of so that's just funny because you're like, well, there's Ray Romano, and Holly Hunter's like, oh, he's not funny at all, and so he says, but I mean, Ray Romano is hilarious in this part because he's playing a guy that's a dad that's awkward, and what do you do? Your daughter's in the hospital, and all the side characters were great, the smaller characters, the stand-up comedy stuff is. Because they're comics, and just all the backstage stuff with comics, they captured really well, I thought, and it's real touching. And Kumail, man, he does a great job, and he plays a very understated. It's very understated in a very great way. His stand-up he's not a big, big energy comic anyway. So he's playing basically himself.
Right.
And, the little moments where he's being funny. And it's honestly, too, a great story because it really gets into the culture clash. His parents are
Pakistani.
They're Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's some great moments where, there's a scene where he's like, they're mad at him or whatever. And he's like, okay, I love you and respect our culture, but why did you bring me to America and expect me to live like I'm a Pakistani man? I'm not. I'm but I'm American. Like you raised me in America. So I'm going to ask questions like Americans do. I'm going to question my faith. I'm going to want to date outside what my parents want. I don't want to be in an arranged marriage and all this other stuff. And so it was really, really heartfelt because these
Right.
conversations happened. There was a problem within the family. All of this stuff, and it's really, it's done really well. And the woman who I'm going to bring up her name, who plays Emily. Is
Zoe Kazan.
Zoe Kazan,
Yeah.
and she is a really good actress, and she has done. She was in Ruby Sparks, and, she was in What If, and, plays, these interesting types of characters. And she's had some bigger work, and stuff like that as she's been in whatever, Our Brand is Crisis and stuff like that. But she played this, it's funny, interesting because, I don't know Emily super well, but she's been on, I know her enough. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I didn't go, oh, like, oh, that's not Emily. Or you know what I mean? Like I and this is such a compliment because I know Emily helped write it. I wasn't thinking about Emily.
Right.
I was thinking about Zoe. It's like she played that character well, and I would love to interview them and ask. I'm sure they're asked it been a million times. Why didn't you cast yourself in it? But it's great. I mean, it's a great. Maybe they're like, well, we don't need to relive this again, like whatever. But I mean, Zoe does a fantastic job, and Emily and Kumail, the writing. I mean, obviously, it's just and the updated stuff and the stuff that's clearly like jokes. Hilarious, I thought. And there's so many human real moments because they went, oh, we got to tell that story.
Right.
The when that happened, or when your parents said this or your friend said that. And again, the people that pay Kumail's family, they're fucking hilarious. The guy who plays his brother, his dad. There's all these great scenes where they're at dinner and it's like, oh, who's at the door? Like that happens a million. Oh, it's a young single Pakistani woman, and it's really, it was cool to see. It's inspirational in terms of just like us as comedian, podcaster, filmmakers trying to get work made. That it's that old adage of go with what you know, go with personal, go with what you've gone through, and that'll be the best story because it's authentic and it's honest. It's not you going, gee, well, what would it be like if I wrote a
clown story?
Yeah, or like if I wrote a story about a Pakistani guy and a white girl, like what do I know? So it would be
know more now after watching the movie.
So it was really cool. It was really, and Holly Hunter, Ray Romano,
great casting.
The casting there was not a miscast on screen.
So I'm glad to hear it's doing well too.
It's doing great. Like they've done really good business. It's interesting to see, Amazon bought this.
Yep.
And they've put a lot of money behind it. And what seems to be happening with this movie is it's
going into a wider release.
It's going into a wider release, which doesn't happen that much anymore. But, it's done $30 million. It's opening.
I'm sure it's made its money back.
Yeah.
But its budget.
It probably had a $5 to $10 million budget at the most. It had a $420,000 opening weekend.
Right. So, if they acquired it for 12, so Amazon's already happy.
Yeah. And
now Jeff Bezos can build his own rocket ship and beat Elon Musk to the moon.
Well, they're gonna duke it out in space, Transformer style. I think that's what's coming.
They're gonna do a moonraker.
Yeah. Well, Elon Musk, I don't think has been paid $600 million by the CIA like Jeff Bezos, but so he might be at a slight disadvantage.
NSA.
Maybe NSA, he's gonna make a deal with the NSA. Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
just some deep state
internal fighting.
Deep state fight.
Yeah, through proxy. Through retail proxies.
A deep state retail proxy war. I'm in. But yeah, good movie. Big Sick. Go see it.
Cool.
You're supporting podcasters and indie comics
definitely,
and all that stuff.
Check it out. I can't really say they're indie now after making $12 million.
Not anymore. Well, they're gone. It's like when Amy Schumer was indie 7 years ago.
Shot first.